Hey gang, welcome to another template design walkthrough. This design is called the Outline Media Kit. So this one's designed for a lot of your social media posts, your game day posts, different announcement things. But it's really nice in the fact that it is high resolution files, so they can be used for printed materials as well. So your banners and different prints, you could use them for that. This kit includes a 9x16, a 4x5, and a 1x1 ratio. So all designed to fit your social media stories and your posts and things like that. So let's jump in to take a look at the options. There's 10 different kind of design options within this media kit. So I'm just going to give kind of a run through here of what's included and then look at a couple customizations just to get you guys up and running here. So when the file loads up, I've got the 9x16 loaded up here. You're going to see we've got 10 folder option groups down here. And then at the top, as normal, for my stuff, you're going to see the color grading layers, which again, you can expand that. And you can change those opacities and things if you would like. And then the facial highlight boost. Again, these are just highlight layers. You paint on the black mask here with a white brush, and it's supposed to boost the highlights on your subject's face just so they stand out a little bit. But looking down here at option number 1 looks like this. So if we expand this group, you're going to see within each group is a subject placement group. So that your subject will go in each one of these groups where it's marked in red. Then we just have some texturing and things. You see a lot of the text elements in here. These are the auto format text elements. So in other words, let's double click here. As you would type in here, it's going to auto resize based on the size of the what's kind of preset for it to fit in there. So you could hit enter and make a second line, and it's going to auto resize. All right, so if that's kind of new to you, just be aware that that is going to auto resize to stay in the size of these spaces, just to make things more convenient. All right, and then coming below that, we have some different glows and things just to give some dimension up here in some of this text. We've got some texture getting applied. If we take a zoom in here, you can see there's some texture going on in these backgrounds to give it a little bit of interest back there as well. And then for the text group, that's going to be all of your main game day text in here. If we open that up, all these are editable, so you could make that say anything that you wanted it to. Then we just have kind of a universal text color control here. Now, each of the text could be individually colored just by turning that off and just changing, the color individually per text here. All right, so that's very possible as well, but if you're going with just a uniform color, you can just use this universal color control up here to change those text colors very easily here. All right, and then below that, just some more background texture. We've got a border on this particular one that could be turned on or off based on the look that you like here, and again, easily change the color of that as you would like as well. And then some background color back here, and that's just going to change, whatever is happening in that background. All right, so very easy to change that too. So all of these options you're going to see are kind of structured in this same way. So this is the next option. So we have our subject placement group. Same types of text options, texture options, same type of text group for your game day, for kind of like the major game day text at the top here is all within a text group. And same thing for all these others. So let's just quickly run through these. So this is option 3. Again, we'll expand just so you can see same kind of setup in here. So basically, once you get familiar with one folder, you're going to be completely familiar with all 10 of them because they're all structured basically the same way. All right, and that's the key thing. A couple little differences, like this one's got, a spotlight in the background. So nothing major as far as differences between the designs. It's just pre-laying these out in some different options so that you can more quickly create different looks. Now, in some of these, we do have some repeating text. So like, for instance, the repeating text rows here, and these are done as smart objects. So any of these folders that have a smart object, which you can tell because of this layer icon here, it looks like the little page in the box thumbnail. That means you're going to edit that within the smart object. And you'll kind of see here, repeating text, edit this smart object. But then for these other ones, It just, we label these do not edit, because if you change one, it's going to change them all. So no need to touch all of these. But if you wanted to change this text, it's as simple as just double clicking on this layer thumbnail. And now you see just a normal text layer. And you just want to type in enough text basically to fill this box up. So let's change this, say, to the Wildcats. I would just type a word and a space, and then Command or Control A to select everything, Command or Control C to copy it, and then hit End, and then I can just Command or Control V to paste and paste and paste. All right, so it's just till that canvas is filled up. And then if we close this, it's going to ask us if we want to save the repeating text changes. Say yes, and there it goes. It updates all of that repeating text automatically. All right, so that's how those smart objects work. So if that's new to you, it's very easy to use those and to update all of that at once. But again, other than that, again, the structure of these folders is all the same. In behind these are those text boxes. So if you wanted to change those colors, very easy to do that as well. All right, so you'll see that the text boxes, I have it set up to match the border color. But if you wanted to extend this past, that's a simple transform, and you could drag those out to the edges there. Again, the beauty of layers is it's all completely customizable, and you get to kind of pull things apart and make new things. So that's pretty cool. All right, option 6 here, that looks like this. Again, you're going to see the subject placement group, textures, text elements, again, all that same structure. Just the only difference is we got a few boxes in here to create a couple different looks. For instance, this alternate text box is just kind of singling out this one part in the repeating text over here. So if we open up our text group, we're going to see that you have an alternate text color. So all of this text is just straight typed text, but then we're singling out one of those with this color with the mask right here, right? So that mask is getting changed. So in other words, if you wanted to change which of these were an alternate color, well, you could simply move this down. Let's say we want to go to the third one. You could move this box down with, just the move tool and the arrow key, which is what I'm doing now. Kind of center that on there. And then if you wanted to change that to be the alternate text, what I would do is just click on the mask here, and same thing, just use the arrow key, and it's going to move that mask down onto this one here until it's all lined up, and there you go. So it's just creating a new kind of layer of the alternate text there in that stack. So that's very easy to do as well. There is some faded masking happening to some of this text to give it that look. But again, all very kind of consistent with the rest of the groups here. Let's keep going. So option 7 looks like this. Same structure here. We see in this text group, we actually have 4 text layers kind of creating this text border. But it's all just simple customizable text. You can make that say anything you wanted it to. I just kind of typed it out until it kind of fits as a border around here. And let's look at option 8. Looks like this. Again, very consistent structure again. Some shapes back in here just to create some design elements in the background here. Option 9 is this one. Again, very similar structure. Going to be super used to that when you get in there. And then finally, option 10 looks like this. So this one's got some left and right side background text in there. Once again, this is set up as smart text, smart object text, so that if you update one, it's going to update everything, just to keep it nice and simple. So let's say we wanted to change the date for the game day. We could double click in here. Here's our, again, simple text layout here. So let's say instead of away, this was a home game. And let's change, maybe instead of the 23rd, this was the 15th. Put our space back in. Well, we'll just click the check mark, close the document, ask if we want to save it. We're going to say yes, and you'll see it updates every line of that text automatically. All right, so that's the nice thing about the smart objects. Then if we look at our text group in here, again, we have some alternate text colors happening via masking here. So once again, this is Smart Object Text so that it would automatically create this duplicated kind of reflective text down here. So you just need to change the top one. It's going to automatically change that bottom one as well. The text color is just kind of a universal color here with an alternate color here. So if you wanted all that to be the same, you could just turn the alternate color off and just set that text color here. But again, that alternate's just masked off. So if you changed, you know, what this says, but you still wanted an alternate color, you would just move that mask around, just like we did with the other option. So very simply changing that layout as well. So what I want to do, let's drop a subject in here because I want to show you one custom action that is included with this design because this is called the Outline Media Kit. So it's kind of built around this idea of outlining the subject in all of these. Again, you don't have to do that, but I think it looks pretty cool. So we're just going to drop our subject over here into the template. So let's line him up. Let's find a background option that we want. Could be any of these. So I would just like to drop a subject in, kind of get a click around to see, you know, which one that I want to use. Let's start with that one. I think that looks pretty cool because I think it looks pretty cool, you know, kind of just centered up right where he's at on this one. So something like that. I'm going to expand this group and I'm going to drop our subject into the group where he gets placed, and that's going to apply all the color grading layers and things like that. I might just take my arrow keys and bump them up just a little bit. All right, that looks pretty good. So what I want to do is we're going to open up our actions panel, and you're going to see it comes with this JHP Outlines action group. Within this is set to create, this action is set to create up to 5 levels of outline. So basically up to 5 outline layers from the subject. So we'll look at one and then I'll show you the 5th one, and that's going to give you an idea for what everything's doing. Okay, so all you need to do is make sure that your subject or whatever layer you're wanting to create the outline on is selected, and then we're just going to run. We'll just run one level to start with. So I'm going to click play. First thing it's going to ask you to is how many pixels wide do you want that outline to be. I think 40 is a good default. That's why that's in there. So I'm going to leave it at 40 for now and click OK. And you're going to see what is happening is this is actually creating a simplified outline. So you don't really have to worry about like stray hairs or fray things like that create weird outlines. Sometimes if you're just using a standard outline in your layer styles, it gets kind of funky. This is actually designed in such a way that it's creating a very simplified outline, so it should look good on anything that it gets applied to. But the next thing it's going to do is it's going to automatically pop up a color picker so that you could come in and you could determine, you know, very easily by clicking what color you want that to be, or you could type your own value in. I'm just going to kind of pick this level of white back here to match that and click OK. And there you go. You have a simplified outline that easily put around your subject to create this look. So then we could customize the background color. So maybe we want to make that more of that orange color. Let's tweak our blue a little bit just to match more of this blue from the uniform. Let's find a color that we want here. That looks pretty good. And then the same thing, the stroke line on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this value, go down to our stroke line on this bottom one, and color, and let's just paste that same blue in there. All right, so that'd be setting our background color very easily. On our game day text, I'm going to keep it game day, but I want to change the back part of this. Let's make that match our background. All right, that looks good. Now our outline is kind of overlapping our text here, so let's move our subject down a little bit. What I'm going to do, I don't want to grab just the subject because it'll move independently of this outline layer. A good thing to point out is the outline layer is a shape layer, so you can double click and make that any color after the fact as well. Okay, so that's changeable. But what I would do is just grab the whole subject group here, and then I'm just going to use my arrow keys to move them down a little bit just so I can kind of read that text. And then same thing, this alternate text, I want to come in and grab that. And let's make that, there we go, that color, that looks good. And then the last thing would be here. Again, you could come and change this. If I can get my fingers to work right on the keyboard. There we go. And then, as per usual, we can just change our text color by clicking up here, and let's grab that blue. There we go. That looks good. And then the last thing I would do is grab the, so you can see these highlight boosts. They're kind of split between light and darker skin tones. So I'm going to grab the top one, which is for the darker skin tones, a white brush, and just bring those highlights up on his face, just like that. And there we go. I would call that one done right there, which looks, you know, pretty cool. So I do want to show you though on the outline action. So that was just one level of outline being applied there. Let's come down to our subject, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete this outline here. Grab our subject. Now I just want to show you up to 5 levels just so you can see what it's doing. It's just repeating all those steps. If we click play, again, you can say you wanted to make this 50 pixels, so a little bit wider. You would just type that in there. It's going to make a 50 pixel outline. I'm going to bring up your color picker, just pick it, and now it's going to ask for the second level. So let's say 40 on that one, and that one we want orange. It's going to ask you the next one. So you can make it like a little bit smaller as they go out if you wanted to. So let's make that a different, let's choose, say, something like that one. And now 20. Again, you could leave these all the same. I'm just kind of showing you kind of how this works, that it's just going to automatically create these. And then the last one be even smaller. There we go. So you could make up to 5 levels of outlines to create different kinds of looks. Kind of some funkadelic type of things, and it's just something fun to play with. I really like the look of this design with 1 or 2 levels of outline, but I've also been finding myself playing around with 5 just to see what kind of cool looks can be had with this. But yeah, just have fun with this one. We'll go ahead and delete those. Have fun with this one, and you know, as always, I love to see what you guys are doing and what you're making out of these, so please feel free to share those in either our JHP backgrounds group, or email me, or share on Facebook Messenger or something, just so I can kind of keep up with what you guys are doing and how you're using these things. So yeah, I hope you get a lot of use out of this one, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.